Hello, everyone. So, welcome to today's podcast episode. And today we're having an amazing woman. We've been sharing similar experience, just on a different generation, right? And now I would go to Buffalo first. Can you introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, my name is Flora.
Okay, and we're going straight to Buffalo.
My name is Floral Giovanna, but a lot of people call me Flo.
Now we're going to start talking about how you guys could get where you are now, like your educational background.
I went to medical school in Kecamatan in Jogja, and then I worked as a contract doctor in East Timor. That time it was still part of Indonesia, and that's where I started to get interested into public health. And then I got a scholarship to study public health in London. And after that, I continue to build my career in public health.
So for me, I studied international relations in Surabaya. And after that, I did a student exchange in the US. It was for a semester at the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia, where I was under it was the International Global Student Program. And I studied four courses, and most of them were loosely revolved around modern politics and gender and women's studies. This year, from May, I've been working with GIZ.
Okay. So moving on about going to study abroad or outside of your hometown, how does it makes you feel like? Is it hard? Did you guys experience culture shock, or how do you adapt with the things that you're not familiar with?
I guess in terms of both outside of my hometown and outside of the country, yeah, in terms of cultural shock, it's always interesting to meet new things. But from going from Manado to Surabaya, I think most of the culture shock is really just around language. A lot of people speak Javanese, and it's not very similar to what we speak back home in Manado. So it took a bit of some time to kind of like get used to. And within the US, it's an entirely different culture. But I guess it's also a lot more friendly, I guess, because in Indonesia, you don't really, you wouldn't compliment strangers. You don't really engage with strangers in casual conversations. While in the US, it's a lot of more like social environment where people would just like come up to you and talk to you. So yeah, I guess in terms of culture, those were like the biggest differences that I experienced from my experience.
Oh, okay. So Buffalo, what's your experience about it?
So the first time I went out from my hometown was to work in East Timor. Huge culture shock because that was the first time that I left home. Versus to leave home, the safe, uh, safe net for me to go to the free world. That's already a big leap. And then the second, from the world of a student into the world of working woman. So the first time I went there was to work. So it's a huge difference. So, and then of course the different culture, the Timorese culture versus the Javanese culture. So I had three changes when I first left.
So I can conclude that you both enjoy the experience of studying abroad. Mm.
Yeah. In the US, it was very more based on communication. I think in Indonesia, you can ask your lecturers things, but there will always be a certain amount of time or a specific manner in terms of asking. While in the US, lecturers are very open. They're very set on stop me at any time you like, ask me anything you like. And it's very common for students to openly disagree with their lecturers. So it was a very interesting change of learning culture.
My expectation, I think, open to embrace new experiences. I was just so excited all over that I am going to study, I'm going to get a degree, I will open my horizon, I will meet new friends from all over the world, I will experience new things, just that. Even though it was not always easy, but I guess I had so many new experiences, so I was very satisfied.
I definitely agree with Bufo. I think the excitement really plays a lot into the expectations of it all. And I guess for me, I guess in the beginning, I was very much anxious because I've never been outside of the continent before in my whole life. And I guess I had a lot of these expectations, such as I was scared of not being able to keep up with the studies. So I guess these were my irrational fears in the beginning. I kind of was expecting the culture to be a bit more intimidating. And when I got there, what I was met with was actually the people were very welcoming. The lessons, oh, and because I picked courses that I genuinely wanted to learn more about, it also played a lot into how my expectations were met. I did expect to be in an environment that kind of excites me. And that was definitely something that I really experienced, especially in terms of my courses. So that definitely was a great moment for me in terms of expectations.
It
Yeah.
was very
Way
exciting
beyond.
for like you can actually learn something that you've been wanting to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Now you guys have told me enough about you guys' experience studying abroad, and I guess it's very interesting and very fun. Makes me want to study abroad too. And then now I want to know, based on the stories that you guys tell me, did you guys see differences between uh, the experiences you've had based on the generation? Because Buffalo was in London on the 90s and Kafla was on 2020 something, right?
Yeah. It's really about how technology plays out during my exchange. So, for example, in my time, we used a lot of digital banks. So none of us ever went to the money changers, and like none of us money changing was never a thing for us. And I guess it also plays a lot in terms of how it how I lived through my exchange experiences, and also in terms of courses, reading materials and everything, it was never given to us in terms of physical materials. And I guess that's also kind of like a downside because me personally, I loved reading physical books. But during my exchange, most of the materials given to us were PDF online books. Despite having an official campus email, most of the reading materials were given to us online. And that also played a lot into how most of my courses played out because we would have to prepare, I guess, videos to show during our classes. We would have to prepare all these, I guess, digital communications materials for our lessons. And I don't know if it's that big of a difference, but that was how it was for my experience. What do you think, Buffalo? How was it with your experience?
That's huge. That's huge difference. Yeah, I miss that, of course. And your era, it's digital, everything digital. Yeah, in my era, we were given reading material list, and then we had to go to the library to find the journal or the book, and we made photocopy. And the second is about communication to home. Yeah, when you are
Ah,
thinking, yeah, and
yes.
the thing in your era, it must be much easier with WhatsApp and everything. In my area, it was very expensive to make a phone call.
Definitely a really, really big difference.
Yeah,
Because, like,
that's
in my time, when we miss our parents, we can just call them, we can just video call them. So it's not only
yeah.
like voice call, but we can also see them. So, they, yeah, that's definitely a big difference.
Yeah.
You've guys shared a lot of experiences. And now, before we end this, I would ask for some tips for the university students who are going either outside or inside the country, just away from hometown. What give me your best tips on being away from your hometown or from your country? Probably from Gafo.
I think my biggest tip also relates to, I guess, my biggest principle. It's always been you have to love what you do. And when we're talking about studying abroad, I think it's very important to do number one, a lot of research of what you want to study and make sure that what you're going to study is something that you genuinely like and what you're genuinely interested in. You don't have to be an expert in what you want to study. I mean, you want to know more about it. Just make sure that you're curious about it because, in the end, when you're doing the studying experience, being abroad, it can take a lot of burden off because you're always met with this excitement every single day because you love what you want to learn. And other than that, it's always keep an open mind. And I guess, how do I say this? Kind of like hold on to your identity. Because when you're going abroad, when you're going far away from home, it's very easy to meet a lot of new people, a lot of new influences, a lot of new culture. And sometimes in our age, it's very easy to kind of like get lost in those things. But when you have a good foundation and a good basis in what am I here for? What do I want to learn? What am I actually doing here? When you have a good basis of that, you can be more focused. And I guess it would just give you less distractions and make you better in terms of living out the whole experience.
Okay, that's pretty good tip. Buffalo.
Very interesting. Very interesting, Flo. I like what you said. And I very much agree with that. I just want to uh, make a bottom line about don't get lost. Always be aware what is my purpose of coming here. That hold on to that. What is the purpose of my coming here? Is to study, is to open my horizon for new things. Not all new things, but the new things that is in line with the horizon that you are going to open. I think that's the only thing that I want to stress on.
Oh, I
Yes.
want to add something.
Yeah.
And don't forget to just be confident. I feel like a lot of people at the idea of studying abroad, they're always intimidated by it. So they immediately back down because it's too big, it's too scary. But the number one tip is really to just go for it. Go for it. The worst thing that can happen is just you don't get it. But that's okay because you tried already. So like don't be afraid to like fail at studying abroad, studying outside of your hometown.
That's a very good tip. Okay. So I'm gonna end this conversation. Thank you so much for being here. I'm super grateful for you both for wanting to come here I hope our conversation can help other people who watch this. So thank you so much. I'll see you on another chance. Bye bye.